Hi everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Martina and today I thought I would take you through the top fiction books that I'm most excited about reading this year. Now some of them have yet to be released, but others were released last year or a few years ago. So let's just get straight into it. Now the first book that I'm excited to read is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. This is about a girl called Addie LaRue who makes a deal with the devil so that she becomes immortal, but the only thing is that when people talk to her, once they turn away from her, they forget about her, so nobody ever remembers who she is. Until one day, when she's in a second-hand bookshop in Manhattan, she comes across a boy who recognises her. So I think the story unfolds from there. It sounds very intriguing. It's like, who is this boy and what is he to her and how does he remember who she is? So really looking forward to reading that one. The next book that I really want to read is The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang. This one is a bit of a different one for me. I've never read a war book before. I like war movies. I just wonder how it will translate to the written page, whether I like it or not. So this follows a girl who aces this test to see who the most talented students in the empire are, and then she goes on to go to an elite military school. Now I've heard that the first part of the book is in the school, and in the second half she's actually at war. It just sounds really interesting and it's supposed to be fantastic, so I thought I would give it a read, and it's something different and I always like to read different things. The next book on my to be read this year list is Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I have never read a Taylor Jenkins Reid book and they are supposed to be absolutely fantastic. This follows the story of Daisy Jones and her band The Six, and it's about how they got together and how they eventually end up breaking up. I've only heard good things about this book. I haven't never heard a bad review, so really excited for this one. Another book that I really want to read is The Vanishing Half by Brit Bennett. This tells the story of two black girls who run away from home when they're 16. They eventually part ways, and one ends up going back to her hometown and marries a black man, and the other girl marries a white man and passes for white as they're both light-skinned. I think then years later their daughters end up meeting, and it's about the relationship between the daughters and perhaps the relationship between the mothers as well. I'm not really sure. This is supposed to be really thought-provoking and a really interesting story. Now the next book that I want to read is actually a graphic novel, and it's Heartstopper by Alice Oseman. I've only read the first part in this story, but the fourth volume is coming out, I think it's the middle of the year. This graphic novel just warms my heart. It's about a boy called Charlie who is openly gay, and he ends up sitting beside this boy Nick at school one day, and they quickly become friends, and Nick starts to question his sexuality. As they get closer, their relationship deepens, and it's just, I loved it. I really loved it. I just cannot wait to read the rest of it. Another book that I really want to read, I've had on my Kindle for years and I've just never gotten around to it, so I need to read it this year, and that is Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. This tells the story of a girl who is a trained assassin, but she gets caught and so she has to serve a life sentence. But the king strikes a deal with her. If she takes the prince's place in a to-the-death tournament, then she can go free. Obviously, if she lives. This is such a favourite on BookTube. I've heard great reviews about the series and I cannot wait to start my journey with this character. Another book I'm definitely going to read this year is Chain of Iron by Cassandra Clare. I loved the Infernal Devices series. Tessa and Will, they just broke my heart, then they glued it together again, then they broke it again. It's, oh, the feels. So as far as I know, it's about the children of the characters from the Infernal Devices. So I assume there's going to be demons and monsters and loads of action, and I cannot wait. The second last book that I really want to get to is The House in the Cerulean Sea by TJ Klune. Now I know everyone has heard of this one, and I'm sure everyone has read it at this stage but me. It tells the story of Linus Baker, who's a caseworker who was sent to an orphanage for magical children to see if these particular magical children are going to bring about the end of the world. It just sounds so funny, and it's supposed to be really heartwarming and hilarious, and yeah, I really am looking forward to reading that. Just something whimsical and a little bit different, so yeah, that should be really good. And then the last book that I want to read this year, it hasn't come out yet and it's not coming out until Christmas I think, is called On a Night Like This by Lindsay Kelk. This one doesn't even have a cover yet. I don't actually know what it's about, but if it's anything like her other ones, there's a love story and there's probably some girl trying to figure herself out, and it's funny and relatable, and I cannot wait to read it because anything by Lindsay Kelk I just love. So if you haven't read her I Heart series, you should read them because they're the only books that have actually made me laugh out loud. So that's saying something. Well, they're just some of the most exciting books that I want to read in the next 12 months. I hope you've enjoyed. If you did, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe for more book related videos. I'll see you soon. Bye.